Let me take you now to the forecourt of the State House. My colleague Max Labogwa is on standby interacting with the spokesperson for the Chief Imam, Sheikh Armiyawo. Let's take you there live.
Chamber is dark, and then with a smaller chamber, taking into account the size of the deceased in the middle. So it's like you have a bigger rectangle, and then inside the middle you have a smaller rectangle, and then the body would have been put in neatly put in a shroud, and so it will be lowered into the grave, and then once it's been lowered into a grave and it's covered, what follows the next is to say prayer again, and then the lead imam who will be there, or other imams who will take their turns to say a prayer for whoever we have been able to bury. So in both levels of this ceremonial event, the activities are very, very simple. And what is left for us now is to continue the prayer for the departed soul, and every minute they need our prayer. So we'll keep on praying, and more of our prayer is for God to grant them His mercies, grant them His forgiveness, and grant them the paradise.
At this difficult times, a lot of families will be seeking solace and some respite in what Allah says. I want to find out from you, which part of the Quran can they go for some comforts at this very difficult time?
Yes, I mean, it's not all of them who are able to read the Quran. But under the circumstance, what they need to be reciting is the Quran. What Allah says that when something happens to you and you are patient, you say Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilaihi Raji'un. Says that God is going to test you, because it's made so clear in Quran chapter 2. It's made so clear that God will subject you to test by taking away your wealth, causing you some fear, your farm produce, and even taking away some lives from among yourselves. But it says, give good tidings to those who are patient, that when any calamity befalls them, they say, Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilaihi Raji'un. To Allah we belong, and unto Him is our return. Now, when you say this, the Chief Imam has been teaching us all the time that there are two things that God will do for you, which will suit your heart. The first one is that He will grant you His compassion. The second thing is that God Himself will pour on you a prayer of blessings, of benedictions that touches you. And then the final one is that Allah will grant you His guidance. That whoever does this, these are three things which Allah will do, and for us to be able to tell all affected by this, they have something to hold on to. And then also to be remembering them. In fact, what God has done, our brothers cannot come back. And so all that we can do is to keep on praying for them, for God's compassion, God to give them the peace, beyond this life. And then when they are in the grave, we believe that when they are in the grave, they will be questioned. Life in the world, as far as we're concerned, is built on accountability. Whatever you did, you will be questioned, or whatever you have done. So we keep on praying for them that God should firm up their tongue to be able to answer questions which angels must be asking them, about what they did when they are alive, when they were in this short earthly surgeon. So that's what they must hold on to and be keeping the prayer. We have what we call the istighfar, and the istighfar is the seeking for Allah's pardon and forgiveness. Even in your reflection, when you are alone, these are the things that you must be doing. And also when you do so, say you wish that the reward for all that you have done will be transmitted to the soul of your departed brother or sister.
There's something that's been bothering my mind. I saw it on social media. When the incident happened, we saw some persons who had familiar relations with some of the victims wearing white. And some people who do not have a better appreciation of the Islamic religion did not understand why they were wearing white. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, I mean, for us, in our belief, when God has caused something to happen in our lives, we do not express it in the way of putting in something of color that will express our anger. For example, if you put on something red, it signifies, you are angry about something. If you put on something black, it signifies you are sad about us. So all these things in our belief means that you are passing judgment on what God has done. And so therefore, because God commits no mistake in our lives, whatever he does, I mean, he does it for a purpose and for his own wisdom, which goes beyond our understanding. So we don't question that, and that is the reason why in practice it is not part of our tradition actually to design or to prescribe a particular color during times of sadness. And that's why you see me in the color that is on me. Yes. So you might see many Muslims, some are in white. I mean, somebody is there, you see him in white, and that is the reason why. But culture is something that has permeated all our lives. So you find that our local people, communities, they have a tradition that when such a thing happens, you must show it by your appearance, and so you put on the black. But for us, putting on the black means either you are not happy with God himself. If you put on the red, you are angry. Yes, and that's the reason why we do not have a prescribed, apparel, for any such circumstance.
Sheikh, finally, before you leave us, earlier we were at the military cemetery. So when you were explaining what today's process is going to be like, the janaza prayers, the shape and form that is going to take, we missed that. So maybe you just want to recap that for us.
Yes,
what we should expect here.
Yeah, in fact, over there, it's not going to be any long process. Once the bodies arrive, as we speak now, the graves have already been dug. So family members will be around, and Muslim leaders will be around, and family members will be assisted to lower the bodies into their individual graves. Once it's been covered, depending on the type of the grave that we dig. Like we said, we have the Sheikh and we have the Lahad. The Sheikh is where we have the bigger chamber and then the smaller chamber. And then the Lahad is when the land is so strong enough to hold it at the side of it. So you push it on the side. Having dug the main chamber, you dig the smaller chamber on the side of it, and that's where we put the body, and then we cover it. Once the body has been covered, all that is left over there is prayer. So we say a prayer over there, and then we end it up there, waiting for whatever family arrangement there is for us to be able to say some adwa for them.
So that's at the burial site.
Yeah,
like here, the janaza prayers will be taking place.
Yes, here the focus of activity here is the janaza prayer, which I've taken you through, which is one genuflection. In one standing, we pronounce the takbir 4 times. In between each takbir, there is what we recite, and then it ends up with what we call the taslim, and that is what we say, Assalamu alaikum. And we do so, that's the normal prayer when an imam is in front of us, and the rest of us make our rows behind him, and whatever he does, we also do after him. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So we just heard Sheikh Armiyawo Shaibu. He is the spokesperson to the National Chief Imam, breaking down what is going to happen here today at the janaza prayers for Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad and the Deputy National Security Coordinator, Alhaji Muniru. In a moment, the event will be started, the janaza prayers will be started here. Let's try and interact with some of the dignitaries who are present here. It's been a very emotional moment for a lot of people. So it's really difficult getting people to speak to us, and of course, we also find it difficult, especially to get closer to persons who are grieving, to share their thoughts, with us. But I want to believe that we are doing all of this in honor of the 2 men who have been buried today. Let's try and see if we can speak to the Deputy Defense Minister, Anas Bojaji, who worked closely with the Defense Minister, Dr. Mane Boama. Let's get closer.